What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Cybertech once again, and welcome to episode 19 of Mining Rig Wars. Last week's winner was, well, I don't know, because I'm on the road and I haven't been able to check everything, and the internet here is awfully slow. So we're going to get this all recorded and uploaded, of course, for 6 p.m. today. We don't have an intro, so let's hop into the rigs. Starting things off, we have Rig A named Lied by Mark. He's rocking a single Palit GTX 1070 dual overclocked edition with 3 Palit GTX 1050 Ti dual overclocked editions with a Pentium G3260 for the processor and 4 gigs of Adata DDR3 RAM and an EVGA G2 750 watt power supply, gold rated. I can't really tell which motherboard this is, but I'm assuming it's an older one, also because of the processor and the DDR3 memory there. I'd be curious to find out which one he's rocking, and his hash rate is 78 mega hash a second. Next we have Rig B named E104 by Ryan. He's rocking 20 PowerColor RX480 RedDevils, the 8GB editions with about 29 to 30 mega hash a second with the custom BIOS flash that he got on it, and 8 Antec high current gamer 850 watt power supplies, 80 plus rated, and 4 sticks of 8GB Vulcan Gaming RAM, 4 Asrock H81 Pro BTC motherboards, and 4 entry-level i3 CPUs. So if he's running the H81, what gen would that be? 4130, somewhere around there. He doesn't actually clarify in his email. And then he has 4 500GB hard drives. He's got it all mounted in a server-style rack here with some casters on the bottom for ease of, I guess, moving around, etc. Pretty clean setup. His total hash rate is 585 to 605 mega hash a second. Rig C is going to be called BSP Server by Alec. He's rocking 3 TB250 BTC motherboards, all with G3930 processors, 6 Red Dragon Rx570s, the 4GB editions, and 6 MSI Rx470 8GB editions, and a single Lonely XFX R9290. No power supply is being mentioned here, and I can't really tell which one it is. Let me know if you guys can tell from the pictures in the comment section below. Total hash rate is 380 to 400 mega hash a second. Next is Rig D, Asus 1060 rig. Owner is Bram. He's rocking a home-built aluminum case. It looks like actually just those 90-degree angled brackets. Looks pretty good. I mean, obviously when you're able to home build a case out of aluminum and get all those holes drilled and tapped to mount the graphics cards, I'm always impressed because that just makes it look super clean. Good job there. He's rocking the Asus Prime Z270A motherboard with an Intel G4560 and a crucial DDR4, 2 sticks of 4GB at 2133 speed. The GPUs are 8 Asus dual GTX 1060s, hence the name of the rig, of course. And it's all powered by a Corsair HX1200 watt power supply and a Corsair SSD 90GB for the operating system. The risers came from Amazon.de, and the M.2 slot PCI adapter also came from Amazon.de as well. Its total hash rate is 184.2 mega hash a second. Finally, we have the Vegenator by Rob. He's probably the largest operation for the week. He's rocking 6 Gigabyte Vega 56, and he flashed him to the 64 BIOS, and a single R9 390 backed up by a very lonely green team card, the MSI GTX 1060 3GB. His motherboard is the Asus Prime H270 Plus, and then he also has an MSI OEM motherboard that I guess he got off of a pre-built. The processor in the former is a G3930, pretty standard there, and in the latter is a Phenom X4925. I love those Phenoms. I have a soft spot in my heart for those, by the way. He's rocking a single stick of 8GB of DDR4 and a single stick of 8GB for DDR3, respectively. And the power supply is a Corsair CM V1200 on the primary rig and a Be Quiet System Power 8 500 watt on the secondary rig, and two 1.5 terabyte Western Digital green drives. He does clarify that he found in the OEM PC, so I guess he just split those between the two rigs, and the version 5 risers is what he's rocking. So on the initial rig, which I think is the focus here, he's rocking 12,000, so 1.2 terahash on Monero with the 6 Vegas. And on the 390 and 1060, he's running it on a Zcash pool at 700 solutions a second. Rocking back through these, I think the last one here, rig E, I really am curious about more. The secondary rig that he kind of pieced together. Those are kind of the ones where I look at and I'm like, you already have the equipment laying around. Why don't you go ahead and put it to work? So it makes a lot of sense to me if you guys are just throwing stuff together to go ahead and mine while you're not using that particular equipment. I have personally been kind of bad at this, like you guys have seen in some videos. I even just have like some GTX 1050s laying around that I'm not using, whether that's because I need to swap them in for testing, etc. I wish I was a little bit more adamant about getting them in and mining something though, so I respect that a lot. That one just, I'm more curious on that one than of course his pretty standard Vega build. Of course the Vega build is great for anything on Kryptonite or especially Monero right now, so they make a lot of sense for that. Rig D is the Asus rig. The aluminum frame is standard. If you guys are looking for ideas, this is a great option. I know that a lot of people have done them in the past. You can just run down to Home Depot and grab the aluminum and put it together pretty simply with some T-brackets, a drill, and some screws, and you can get it done. He did a very nice job with it here. He did go ahead and put in the effort for some cable management, so that's always appreciated. And there's not really much I can say wrong about this build. He even was able to implement the M.2 adapter and have it all working and functioning supposedly, so that's good. I mean, I've used the M.2 adapters quite a few times. You guys can always check it out in the corner. And I've talked about, you know, some of the motherboards, depending on how those M.2 slots communicate with the CPU, won't work, but in some cases, especially like in this case with the Asus Prime Z270, that's an example of a board it works with. Rig C BSP server, I'd like some more information on power consumption as well as which power supplies are actually being used here. I'll try to zoom in on the pictures. I'll probably know post-edit and tag it somewhere, but pre-edit is just really hard to tell. I do like the blue lights, of course, so there you go, but not RGB, so -1 point there. Just because, you know, we need RGB. That's the way it goes. When we're talking about Rig B E104, the rack mounted parts is beautiful. As opposed to grabbing a case like the one from Roseville, the 4U, I think an open air rack solution like this makes more sense just for cooling, because you're not gonna have to be pushing air near as much through those cases that seem to get, you know, a little bit of thermal issues here and there. I think this is what I prefer personally, and I think it was implemented very nicely. Even all the way up to, it looks like the switching at the top there just mounted already in that case. I don't know what's going on with cooling in that room, but with 20 PowerColor RX480s, it is going to get hot, so some airflow is going to be needed. I don't know if he has some fans on the back. You didn't mention them, I can't see them in the photos, but some fans to get some airflow directly on the cards, along with a good AC unit in the room that he has it deployed in, should be pretty solid. And then finally, the first rig of the night with all the Palits. We got 1050 Ti's and 1070s. I want to know which motherboard it is, because that is a older generation G3260. It does look like there's some PCI slots available to expand a couple more cards. I know that cards are hard to get a hold of right now, so that's probably not going to be viable for a lot of people, especially if you only have a single 1070 and a few 1050 Ti's. This is kind of one of those starter builds that I assume what happened is he had a gaming PC with a 1070 in it and then decided to start mining, and it was probably a little too late, so he picked up the 1050 Ti's at a good price, but I could be completely wrong on that. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Mining Rig Wars. It's episode 19. Be sure to go ahead and vote up in the corner. I think it's actually going to be right above my head here. We'll put the poll up there, And then next week will be the finals, so you can come back next week and find out who won the previous 3 episodes and vote on those for the Ultimate Mining Rig Wars Champion. There you go. Don't forget, we do have t-shirts. I bought your GPU. You can check it out in the description below. And you can use promo code LIVE on any of my live streams if you're ever there to go ahead and pick it up for $5 off. We'll probably be running some other promotions as well on those t-shirts, so just stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys check out coins.sonofatech.com. We're working on revamping the website here shortly as well, so everything will be in one place at sonofatech.com without as much subdomain usage, and that's just going to be to make it easier on y'all, as well as wallet tracking, etc. We did have AT&T push an update to the modem and wipe out our DMZ settings along with a couple other things, so we did have some issues this weekend. I had to wait on Dane from our Discord to go ahead and take a look at it because I'm on the road. We're going to hopefully be getting some good content from the Bitcoin Superconference in Dallas, but unfortunately it's been lackluster to say the least. We do have the Octo Miner board coming up for review. That is sitting at the PO box, and I just got the notification on that, as well as the 2200G APU from AMD, which will be focused on gaming benchmarks, of course. So a lot of stuff coming up this week, along with a whole bunch of water cooling parts, etc. So be sure to hit subscribe and come back to the channel. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next Tuesday.